All right, let me once again go back to my colleagues Meetu Jain and Anusha Soni outside the Patiala House Court. Anusha, Meetu, very relieved Kani Moi right now till the time the CBI decides to take and go to this, to the next level as far as this case is concerned. As of now, all accused absolutely not guilty of all charges. All right, it seems to be a audio problem there. We are trying to connect to political reactions on this as well. In the meantime, let me go across to my colleague Polumi. Polumi, the important and the big thing would be Chidambaram coming out and saying that there was absolutely no scam. What for the government right now? All right, okay, let me before we go to Polumi, these are the visuals of MK Stalin, brother of Kani Moi, a stepbrother of Kani Moi, and also the DMK working president distributing sweets outside his residence. Priyambada is with us. Priyambada, if you could take us to those visuals, of course, DMK working president seems elated.
Well, Ankit, I would just say that Mr. MK Stalin is going to start speaking.
All right. All right, MK Stalin is going to speak. We are just waiting for his reaction on there. It's remember this case had huge political costs, and this would be a huge breather for the DMK as well.
ஒரு தீர்ப்பு வழங்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. 2009இல் போடப்பட்ட வழக்கு இந்த 2G வழக்கு. அரசியல் வரலாற்றில் ஒரு கட்சியை அவமானப்படுத்தி அழிக்க வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக திட்டமிடப்பட்டு போட்ட வழக்குதான் இந்த 2G வழக்கு. ஆகவே அந்த வகையிலே இது ஒரு பெரிய அளவிலே சித்தரித்து பொய் கணக்குகளை எல்லாம் காட்டி இந்த வழக்கை திணித்தார்கள். ஆக அப்படிப்பட்ட அந்த வழக்கிலிருந்து அனைவருமே குற்றமற்றவர்கள் என்ற ஒரு தீர்ப்பு டெல்லியில் இருக்கக்கூடிய தனி நீதிமன்றத்தின் மூலமாக கிடைத்திருப்பது உள்ளபடிய மகிழ்ச்சிக்குரிய ஒன்று. ஆக அந்த தனி நீதிமன்றம் திமுகவை பொறுத்தவரையில் எந்த தவறும் செய்யவில்லை என்பதை தெளிவாக தன்னுடைய தீர்ப்பின் மூலமாக வெளிப்படுத்தி இருக்கிறார்கள்.
When I succeeded him and I looked at the facts, I told the people of this country there's nothing wrong that has happened. And today my position and the government's position and the Prime Minister's position has been vindicated. It is most unfortunate that the country had to go through this. And in fact, a lot of the NPAs in the banks today are on account of the fact that these telecom companies' licenses were cancelled. People had to borrow money from the banks. They couldn't return money to the banks. That's how a lot of these NPAs have accumulated. That also is the responsibility of the opposition, not ours.
यानी सर व्यवस्था को नुकसान हुआ,
बैंकिंग सेक्टर को नुकसान हुआ, व्यवस्था को नुकसान हुआ, एनपीएस बढ़ गए इसी वजह से, क्योंकि लोगों के लाइसेंस कैंसिल हो गए. वो पैसा जो उन्होंने उधार लिया था, बैंक के साथ लोन पे लिया था, वो वापस नहीं कर पाए. तो आर्थिक स्थिति में मंदी आई और इस वजह से, विनोद राय की वजह से और बीजेपी की वजह से
दर्ज किया जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि जिस तरह से पार्टी बने थे.
हाँ बिल्कुल. नहीं, खैर मैं देखिए ऐसा है कि मैं ऐसी कोई अच्छी बात नहीं करूंगा कि किसी पे केस होना चाहिए, लेकिन जो बड़े बड़े लोग बड़े बड़े पदों पे बैठे हुए हैं, जब वो फैसला लेते हैं ना, तो थोड़ा सोच विचार के साथ लेना चाहिए.
I mean, Rajiv, I can't help notice very jubilant couple symbol there. It seems that as of now, his zero loss theory has proven right, and a lot of questions now would be asked of Vinod Rai as well.
Yeah, but Vinod Rai has held his ground, all along, and that's very interesting. It will be very interesting to know his views now at this point, because he said, we are auditors, we are accountants, we know our business, and we have come to a conclusion of this number after a lot of number crunching. And his calculation, he had said, was based on the the price at which Unitech sold the shares to Telenor, and that as well as Estel. So those were the two major calculations, and then of course the 3G spectrum auctions came, and the government gained enormously, and so he was more or less proven right. And that's how this whole snowballed into such a huge controversy. This is where Vinod Rai will be very critical to understand, what he says about this. But like I said, so far he has held his ground and he has said that we were right, that there was a loss to the exchequer, and 3G numbers, but the numbers at which 3G spectrum was sold, more or less prove that.
A Raja. Smiling A Raja there. Anusha, if I can come to you very quickly. It is a relief for the accused in the case from the possibly the very first hurdle, the very first court giving them this sort of a breather. What are the options for the CBI now?
So, Ankit, whichever way this case went, whether it's a victory for the accused or for the convicts, this case has to go in for an appeal, that's for sure. But it's for certain that had there been a conviction, it would have been very difficult for the accused and the convicts then to get any relief. In all likelihood, now if CBI has to go ahead and appeal, the Supreme Court has now allowed the appeal in the Delhi High Court. That's where it's going to happen. But the case is so...
Just hold your thought. Stay on with me. We are now being joined by consulting editor India Today Group, Rajdeep Sardesai, on the phone line. Rajdeep, I just want to put one line to you. Does this mean that, not guilty of these accused also acquits the UPA for all the noise around this entire case?
Well, I think that question will be answered only when we've read the judgment in entirety. Whether it was proven beyond reasonable doubt that A. Raja had actually compromised the system will be known when we read the entire judgment. But yes, prima facie, it gives the UPA the moral high ground to today claim that the CAG report, which said there was a 1.76 lakh crore loss to the exchequer, the entire opposition campaign at the time that the 2G auctions had been manipulated by the then telecom ministry and the government had looked away, then UPA, now of course in the opposition, will be able to now claim that this was part of a malicious campaign against them, and it was a campaign that in a sense almost costed the 2014 election by tainting the government as corrupt. So yes, by the acquittal of the various individuals involved in the 2G scam, the government can well raise questions over the then CAG Vinod Rai as well as the then BJP-led opposition that this was part of a campaign to tarnish the image of the UPA. But beyond that, we will have to wait and see the exact reasons that the judge has given for these acquittals before we can clearly say that the court believes that none of these individuals in any way were involved in actually manipulating the telecom bids.
Rajiv, how do you see this playing out now? Kapil Sibal, the man who famously said that it was a zero-sum loss and also attacked Vinod Rai at that point of time, was ridiculed. The BJP used his statement. In fact, the Prime Minister, even in the Gujarat campaign, had mentioned 2G. He has come out and said that the BJP should apologize to the people of India. How do you see this now playing out, especially in the Parliament session on?
Look, I will not be surprised if this gives the opposition more ammunition in Parliament. Remember, there are still 10 days to go of this session. You will have a more belligerent opposition. And look how things have changed in the course of a week. First, the opposition has got a bit of the Congress in particular, a bit of oxygen after the Gujarat verdict, the fight that they gave the BJP. But now with this 2G verdict, it will give them even more ammunition to target the government. And you can expect in Parliament the opposition to certainly raise this issue. And remember, the DMK is the party, the other party which is the big beneficiary. Today there are important by-polls taking place in Tamil Nadu. It was the DMK that was pushed on the defensive, and the general belief has been that the DMK is a party now in revival mode. So it will give a huge boost to the DMK in Tamil Nadu. There is of course speculation, remember, that which side will the DMK go with in 2019. The Prime Minister had met the ailing DMK leader Karunanidhi. What is clear though is that the DMK has got a huge boost as a result of this verdict, because it means that both A. Raja and Kanimori, who spent time in jail, their MPs who spent time in jail, are now, at least for now, in the clear. So, yes, political repercussions of this verdict are huge, both in the context of Tamil Nadu and in the national context. You can expect even a statement, I am told, from Dr. Manmohan Singh, because remember, it was his government that was targeted on the 2G auctions.
Rajiv, before I let you go, I also just wanted to speak to you about former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, a man, despite all these allegations, it was always said that his personal honesty, integrity was never to be questioned, was never questioned. This does at a time when he has been on an offensive against the present Prime Minister for the comments that he made during the Gujarat campaign, comes in a huge shot in the arm for him personally as well.
Absolutely, because remember, this was one of the first scams, along with the Commonwealth scam, that in a way really eroded Prime Minister Singh's image. It was seen that he had turned a blind eye to what A. Raja was doing in the telecom ministry. The Prime Minister has maintained that as far as he was concerned, the auctions that had taken place had been done by the telecom ministry without his knowledge. And he had in that sense claimed deniability and passed on the buck in a way to the DMK and Mr. Raja. So if Mr. Raja is now acquitted, the government could well claim that even the notion of collective responsibility no longer holds, and the Prime Minister was wrong. Then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh was wrongfully targeted. I think no one believed that Dr. Singh in any way would have been personally involved. There was a sense that Dr. Singh had allowed Mr. Raja considerable autonomy and leeway. Look, there will be those who will still claim that Mr. Raja in particular subverted the system. The question is, as I said, therefore, that it's important to see what the judgment precisely says about Mr. Raja's role. Only then can we clearly say that the UPA and the DMK now can go on the offensive. But yes, prima facie, acquittal means in our judicial system, innocent till proven guilty, gives them enough of ammunition to target the government. But I do expect that the CBI and the petitioners will now go to a higher court.
Rajiv, thank you so much for joining us early morning. Of course, as Rajdeep has been saying, huge political ramifications for this case. It had a huge political cost for the Congress in the 2014 elections. Will it have some sort of a bearing in the 2019 elections is yet to be seen. Anusha, my colleague, is outside the Patiala House Court. Let me quickly cut across to her. There are celebrations outside the Patiala House Court. Anusha, over to you.
So Ankit, you can see on your screen right now, these visuals are right from outside from the Patiala House Court. The supporters have gathered here in large numbers. The police did not want, because this is the India Gate circle, so they didn't want people to actually gather here. But despite that, you can see scenes of jubilation, people actually celebrating this. All the supporters of the political parties are out here saying that the truth has won. Their version is that there was always no case against them, and this is their big victory that has set in. And in fact, you can see all these people lined up here right from outside here. This is the main entrance of the Patiala House Court. All of them have gathered here. From here, most of the politicians who have left right now, A. Raja and Kanimori are still here, are inside the court. They are inside the court. There are still some formalities that need to be done. A. Raja is the prime accused, so of course he'll have to complete some formalities, sign some paperwork before he can get out of the court. And yes, he walks free today. You see these visuals on your screen. The supporters out there with the placards saying that truth alone triumphs, Satyamev Jayate. And it's a big day indeed for all of them. Tears, jubilations, yelling and happiness and chirps all around in the court. That didn't look like a courtroom to me today, Ankit, frankly speaking. And also one thing, Ankit, quickly, as we've been talking about what impact, does it actually go ahead and exonerate the UPA? One quick point that one lawyer made is that one cannot deny the fact that the 2G licenses were indeed cancelled by the Supreme Court. So as far as the allocation of the licenses were concerned,
yes,
there was indeed arbitrary and illegal. That's what the Supreme Court had held. Whether there was any criminality, did quid pro quo happen, was the bribe taken? CBI could not prove any case at the CBI special court.
Okay.
And once the trial court has held a view of fact and held that someone is not guilty based on certain facts, it is very difficult to turn that order around at a higher court. Delhi High Court is the place where the court where an appeal lies. What needs to be seen is whether CBI does it, whether the Enforcement Directorate does it. If you do it, what are your grounds? 80,000 pages charge sheet. Took about 8 years for this judgment to come in.
Right.
And as we speak, you can see one of the supporters here. He's just walking past us with that flag. He's been here since morning. Most of these supporters here since morning, and the crowds are
How
just swelling
unusual
in.
is it,
The
Anusha, to see
demonstrations
even
are just
DMK
increasing.
flags on the streets of the national capital, which is usually the BJP, Congress, and of course now the Aam Aadmi Party is the main political force in the national capital. But Mr. Sankla, senior lawyer who practices in the Supreme Court, is with us. Mr. Sankla, this is for the benefit of our viewers. Prosecution not being able to prove its case, does that mean that there was no scam at all? Or does it mean that they still have ammunition to go against these accused once again in a higher court?
You see, in court there is nothing in black and white. There are different shades of grey, Ankit. So when the Honourable Judge has said that the prosecution has not been able to prove its case, means that it has failed in the touchstone of law. That is all. Whether CBI would appeal, well, the chances are very high that CBI would appeal and challenge this judgment. Would that be effective is for all of us to see, because an order or a judgment passed on facts has a very strong bearing. And to be very honest, if CBI has not done its job properly, then it is only wasting the taxpayers' money at this stage to actually talk about challenging it or moving in appeal against an order.
I'm afraid I'm very interesting, and I'm also getting a live feed from the parliament here in the studio that all the Congress leaders are very happy to come to the microphones right now and give their reaction, while the BJP leaders, including the president of the BJP, Amit Shah, we just saw him walking past the microphones. That it is that sort of a day, especially on 2G, where usually the Congress previously used to run away from giving a reaction, and the BJP would be very happy to speak on this today. It's a role reversal sort of a thing. Very quickly, let me get an update from my colleague Priyambada, if I can see if, let me check if she's still with us. Okay, Priyambada is not. Akshaya is joining us from Chennai. Akshaya, celebrations outside Kanimoi's residence, but it was a very interesting visual of DMK working president MK Stalin, who is, stepbrother of Kanimoi, coming out distributing sweets. Does it mean that Kanimoi A. Raja's political careers, as far as the DMK is concerned, are going to go high now? There is a chance of revival there.
Well, most certainly, Ankit, because this is what the DMK had really wanted from the 2G verdict. They wanted to establish themselves as the party in the state and a flawless party. And in fact, the 2G verdict has only helped boost their image in the state right now. DMK workers have been like bursting crackers, distributing sweets. And in fact, MK Stalin was also doing that. And the only request that he had was the tainted image of the DMK, which led to the downfall in the previous elections, should be changed now, and that the AIADMK...
Just thought right now, the election for the RK Nagar is on. Do you see some sort of an impact of this judgment on the voters, those who are still standing in the line? The judgment and the report of that would be trickling in for them as well.
Ankit, the last couple of days, the kind of activities that have been going on, from Jayalalitha's video to all the cash for vote scam that have been going on, yes, today's verdict for the DMK will play a major role, because DMK's this issue has been one of the reasons that they didn't do well in the previous two elections. And this time around, the DMK has been projecting itself as the only party that can change the fate of the people of Tamil Nadu. And yes, the 2G verdict will help them establish this even more. And yes, there could be ripple effects of this in the RK Nagar by-polls today as well, Ankit.
Well, don't mistake these visuals that are coming in from also the Patiala House Court as from Chennai. The DMK flag fluttering high there. The supporters jubilant outside the Patiala House Court.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.